In the last sitting, we had the instruction, Har Har Naam Japo Man Mere, Mukh Gurmukh Preet Lagati, Jit Mukh Aag Likhya Tur Sach Hai, Har Tit Mukh Naam Japati. With His blessing, with His grace, a person gets on the path to his meditation, but not everybody pays attention to this. Mostly people ignore that, give it a lip service. And those who give lip service, they are now described in the next story. Shlok mein natija, Satgur Jini na Saveo, Shabad na kito vichar. Saveo, meaning it's not a literal seva, doesn't mean service here. Satgur Jini na Saveo means Simreo, जिन्होंने उसका जाप नहीं किया. Those who have ignored that instruction which was in the 13th pauri, Har Har Naam Japo Man Mere, those who have ignored this, they are being referenced here. Satgur Jini na Saveo, Shabad na Pito Vichar. It is a very, very important aspect of Sikhism. For that matter, all religious, spiritual systems of thought require a deep thinking, a very, very clear thinking, not to get lost in the language, not to get lost in the grammar, not to get lost in the history or in stories. Shabad na kito vichar. Vichar is a very, very significant part of our religion. Human has been very, very negligent in designing a language. The language which is incapable of communicating anything that is of non-physical nature. These languages serve only the body, physical, as the most intellectual, maybe some emotional. Even emotional things are not very clearly communicated using the current state of the language. For example, if you are hurting and you are feeling the pain, you do not have the adequate words to describe your pain, or describe your love, or describe your affection for somebody. The language is, that's why the poet starts using similes, starts using metaphors, starts using parables to try to come closer to what the feeling is. And Gurbani is not about feelings, not about intellect, it's about the soul. It's about the Creator. So we can imagine the difficulty of the Brahmjani as to how to communicate something, how to point out something. They have to use the language that the human understands. And the language is incapable of communicating. That is why vichar, thoughtful pondering, is extremely, extremely important. So when we just read We don't analyze. We don't see how many different ways a word can be used. And then intelligently keeping in mind that this is the subject of spirituality, then pick the meaning which fits the spiritual aspect of life, not the physical or intellectual or emotional aspect of life. Those who haven't done it, or those who even don't try. Most of the people, those who don't try, either hide behind an argument. Well, we are very simple-minded. Or it is not our age. Somebody was telling me last night that the children do not have the intellect to talk spirituality. And I was shocked. I was shocked to hear the thought process. Whereas we, through the stories, have been told that the children, even in the womb of the mother, absorbs the knowledge passed on. And we all repeat the story of Abhimanyu, Arjuna's son, who knew how to enter the Chakravyuh, but did not know how to get out of it. Why? Because the mother fell asleep. By the time Arjuna started telling how to get out of it, she stayed awake while he was telling how to break it and go inside. Now those metaphors or parables or stories, whether they real or not, the purpose was to communicate a message. No human is too young to talk about spirituality, to talk about the beyond. But we don't do it. We shelter the children, thereby we shelter ourselves, because the knowledge had started in the childhood, would have grown with us. We would have grown with it. And our implementation would have become much more intense than now. Satgur Jini na Saveo, Shabd Rasi to Vichar, Antar Gyan na Ayo, Mystak hai Sansar. The inner knowledge, all we are collecting is the outer knowledge. The sciences, whether they are physical or non-physical, medical or non-medical, they all teach about the matter. And what do they teach? They teach the properties of the matter. And if you ask them, why is this doing so? They have no answer. What it is doing, they can tell you. Oil burns. It's a liquid. It burns. Water is a liquid, but it doesn't burn. So if we ask them, why is that so? And they'll say, these are the properties. And that will be the end of the discussion. Gurbani is not talking of that jnana. Gurbani is talking about antar jnana. The awareness about the inner being, inner working. How was that going to come? That would have come had the person done what? Vichar. Had he looked at the Gurbani, had he understood it, analyzed it properly, he would have gotten the answer again. But since he didn't do that, what happened? Antar jnana na ayo, mritak hai sansar. They may be alive physically, but spiritually they are completely dead, which is very true. We have no concept. We have no awareness. Even though we are part of it, we are not looking for anything. Nothing is lost. It's all here inside, within us. How do we define a mystic? The one who is just lying around without being aware of anything. When a human dies, what happens? Body is unaware of everything. The body is there, the brain is there, all parts are there, but he is unaware. Similarly, we have our brain, we have our language, but we are not aware of our inner being. That's why it is Atam Darshan. मन तू ज्योत स्वरूप है अपना मूल पहचान. We only need to recognize it. It is already there. How it is there, how to recognize it, we just don't pay attention to this. We do not go deep into the analysis and keep asking around. And we keep discussing, making a subject of discussion. That's basically it. No implementation. When we miss the opportunity to implement, what happens then? Lakh chaurasi kher paya mar jamme hoye kuar. The cycle of life and death continues. Mare and jamme. Dies and is reborn and continues the same cycle. If you want to break the cycle, it is never too late. You can start it now, this minute. What? Satgur ki seva so kare jisno aap karaye soe. This is a very, very powerful statement, and we get very easily confused by it. Because the line says, looking with a cursory viewpoint, well, Bani says, Satgur ki seva so kare jisno aap karaye soe. Well, he's going to make me do it when he's ready, so since he's not ready, I'm not ready. That's not the meaning of this line. The meaning of this line is, the service or simarna is defined when there is no doer, when there is no ego. That's what it means by jisnu aap karaye. While doing the action, if your ego is with you, then you are the doer. And if you are the doer, then the ego is getting stronger rather than weaker. Be very careful. If you are going to go on the path of spirituality, the humility is a prerequisite. Humbleness is a prerequisite. That's what it means. Jisnu aap karaye. Remember, whatever you are doing, you are not the doer. He is the doer through you. Karta Purukh is only one. Rest are the instruments. If that thought does not remain with you, then it is not going to be the true service of him. Satgur vich naam nidhan hai karam parapat hoye. Everything is with the one who is in touch with the ultimate reality. That's Satgur. Satgur is not a body. Satgur is not a person. Satgur mera sada sada na aave na jaye. वो अविनाशी पुरुष है. सब में रहा समाए. In that Satgur, which is the extension of the word, his hukam, he also has the treasure, Naam Nidhan. Nidhan means the treasure of the Naam. And his grace, with his grace, we get to taste it. But if we do not become worthy of His grace, then lakh 84 pher paya mar jamme hoye war is going to be the end result. सच रते गुर शब्द स्यों तिन सच्ची सदा लिव होए नानक जिसनु मेले ना विछड़े सहज समावे सोए. सच रते गुर शब्द स्यों. Who are those people? What are their definitions? Sachi sada live hoy. We have to desire in a true fashion, not lip service. Sada live, everlasting memory, everlasting attention to that ultimate energy. We immediately slip away and say, well, hold it right there. I am a human being, I have to go make my living. How can I be making living and doing this at the same time? Well, there is no how. It's not a process. It's not a method. It's just change of heart. It is just telling yourself that the karmendriya, the action, can continue with the hands. But in the memory, He's going to remain, rather than letting the mind wander, thinking of other things. We do that today. Our hands are working, we are expert at, we drive the car. We are not constantly thinking of the car. We are looking at the traffic, we are looking at the sign, we are looking at the people go by. The mind is processing number of things at the same time. And Gurbani is saying, look, the car is going. That's what you want to do? Drive the car. That's fine. Now, make sure that the mind doesn't wander around to the other things. And that has to be done. It's a practice. Somehow, we have to change our nature. Such as say, Guru Shabad Syo, they are the one who would be affected by the Guru Shabad, Rakte Jange, Tin Sachi Sada Liva Hoy. Those who make up their mind to keep Him in mind all the time, Nanak Jisnu Mele Na Vichare. Once the reward, the end result is, once you are in touch with Him, then this is not a relationship that will ever break. Sahaj Samava Soe. Then leave Samana. Bear in mind, word Samana, Vastu Andar Vasta Samava Duji Hove Pass. Water can merge into water, but water and oil can sit next to each other, but they cannot merge. That means, if the merging is required, samana is required, then all of the characteristics will have to be like Him. You cannot have a difference. And that is the practice. That's how it has. That's the purpose of the life on this planet. So Bhagavati, Jo Bhagavanta Jane, Bhagavant. Bhagavant word is not used for God or Allah or the Supreme Power. That's an misuse. Bhagavant literally means the one who is Bhagyavan. His words come from the Bhagya. The one who has been successful in life journey here. वो भगवान है, भाग्यवान है. Ashish, we have turned it into and we have connected it with God. That's not the case. One who is successful. Who is successful? सौभाग्यवती जो भगवंत जाने. The lucky one is who would be so bhagyavan, so lucky that he becomes capable of his grace, his prasad. He gets accepted. What is the meaning of getting accepted? Gur prasadi avapashana. That's the know thyself. Buddha used to say, be the light unto yourself. Get rid of the darkness inside you. That's why it is also called Atam Darshan. At the end, you are meeting yourself. Today what you see in the mirror, that's not real you. That is the face on a body. It is a container. It is a package. It is a box. The real thing is inside the box, inside the container. Your real self is hidden inside you. Because you are essence of Him. Those who become worthy of His grace, they start knowing themselves. Gur prasadi aap pachana. It looks very paradoxical. What do you mean, I don't know myself? I do know myself. I know what my habits are. Yeah, you know what your body does. You are not the doer. Jo kuch kiya so man kiya. Your thoughts are making you move. You are helpless in front of your mind. You are like an alcoholic who cannot resist a drink ever, who looks for the excuses. You don't know yourself. The day you know yourself, you will be God personified, because that's your real self. Satgur vich aap rakhen. That God is hidden inside you. You have to recognize it. Gur prasadi aap pachane. Pehchan. Dhavat rakhe. Ikat ghare aane. Dhavat rakhe. To run around. Stop that. Dhavat rakha means to stop the run around. That is the only way. If the mind stops, somebody asked me a question, how to be in the present? Well, stop multitasking. If you are drinking water, just drink water. Well, what do you mean by that? I know I'm drinking water. No, you don't. Do you know? When did that water touch your tongue? Do you know at what speed it went down to your stomach? Do you know what it did in the stomach? You have no clue. You take pride in multitasking. You fill up the glass of water, you turn on the TV, you look at the newspaper, you are checking your mail, you are opening your diary so that you can dial your friend, and you are drinking water too. You cannot be in the present because you are so proud of your capacity to multitask. Being in the present means if you are eating, you are only eating. No other thought. You are aware of every morsel that's going through your mouth. You are aware of your chewing. You are aware of your swallowing. You are aware of your body processing. You are completely in the process of eating. When you do that, धावत राखे, that means you have stopped the mind from running around. Ekat dharaj aane, that is the only way to go to that house. To become one. Don't squander the energy. The modern technological space and time is only concerned about the outer evolution, outer development, success. So what is the success? Take this matter and convert it into the other matter. That's it. Is that a success? Man hasn't created any new elements. All the raw materials are already created. Where is the development? You're taking the same matter that he gave you and changing the form and shape and calling it a development. The mind, though, was simple earlier, the life was simple too. We have lost the distinction between our wants and our needs. The olden times, people were only concerned with their needs. Today, every want has become a need. We very easily say, well, we can do without that one. We need one and another one. In simpler times, and not too far long ago, only 50 years ago, when I was just a little kid, the whole village had one radio. And in the evening, they all used to gather in a single compound and listen to the radio together. Today, every room has a television. Today, every person has a car. Why? We can't do without it. That's our need. It's mind-boggling how we confuse our desires with our needs. That's not the way to go to one house. Dhavat rakha, ekat ghare aana. Unless the mind stops from running around. Well, okay, fine. The wise guy, tell me how to stop it. Right? Isn't that the question going on in the mind right now? There is no how. You just need to say it. To tell it. You'll go back and say, come back. Mere man pardesi aave, aao ghare. Okay, I know you went out. Come back. There is no mystery to this. There is no magic to this. How to stop the mind? You just need to order it, demand it, command to it, say, come back. And it will pay attention and then go away again like a naughty child. As soon as the mother looks the other way, he runs. What does the mother do? Does she get angry with him? No. Same loving voice, same says, come back. This is a naughty child. You need to. Dhavat rakhe. Pajjal to rokna hai. Stop. Don't go. Come back. And does not matter how many times he goes out, you have to keep on repeating till he gets the message. What would that be? Jivat mare. That is the state of existence then. Jivat mare. From the surface is oxymoron. How can we mare and jivat at the same time? What is this dying and what is alive? Body is alive. The desires are gone. They are dead. Why? Mind is not wandering anymore. Mind is not hankering for something more. Mind has stopped at one place. Ikkat gharayan hai. He has come back. And what is he doing? Phir ghar baisho har jan pyare. Phir. Stop. Still. Complete stillness. When the mind stops, when the mind, it is there, it's not dead, it's completely alive, but it is in the present. Now it is in the present. Now there is no thought of the future, there is no worry of the past, or worry of the future and the thought of the past, all are gone. That is Jivat Mare. When that happens, then Har Naam Vakhane. That is when you will understand. Vakhane means to understand. Vyakhya. Explanation. Then you will understand what Guru has been saying so far. If you have that's why Bani said, Pehla Marna Kabul, Jeevan ki Chadyas. Which Marna? Not to commit suicide, that's not the Marna Guru is asking. Pehla Marna Kabul. What would die? My ego will die. My desires will die. My mind will change its quality. It will know the difference between my needs and my wants, my desires, my hankering. I would know them. Well, how do you stop it? Just don't. Where is the how here? How do I stop my needs? Don't go and buy it. And slowly you will know that you have been doing without it. Now you can do it without again. That's no problem. As the hankering starts inside, just tell it. No. ऐसा भगावती उत्तम होए नानक सत्य समावेश होए. That's the real Bhagyavan. That's the real Shakti. That's the type who will be able to merge with one. Nanak Satya Samavaya Soe. Only then it is possible to merge, because now you are becoming like him. Antar Kapat Bhakauti Khamai. Instead, what is going on? Inner being, the one we were just talking about earlier, which we think we know ourselves. If we knew, why don't we accept that the inside is kapat? Nobody knows anyone, including themselves. Because the moment you know it, you have the Atam Darshan. That's why Bani says, that when you go in the other dimension, Nanga dozakh chaleya tan disse kha. Because that day, you will be able to see your true face, your true nature. And what will be khara, disse khara, completely pure, the way you are, you will know. And what will happen then? Khara Dharamana. You yourself will be surprised, is this me? Well, you are going to know it one day. So why wait that long? Why not know thyself now? Recognize it. Admit it. That's why we don't try to look inside, because we know that as soon as we look inside, we are going to find so much junk, so undesirable characteristics, that we wouldn't be able to stay there. That is why, if you notice, all of the karmendriya are going outward. Can you imagine what will happen if our nose starts smelling inside? Can you imagine? We will not be able to stay there. Can you imagine if our eyes can start looking inside? All gut and the gore and the blood? We won't be able to stand it. Similarly, when our mind looks inside to its thoughts, we don't like it. One of the reasons we run outside, one of the reasons we make connection outside is because of that. We can't be our own friend. We need other friends, outer friends, because our own friendship is not very, very enjoyable. Isn't that amazing? We impose our friendship on others, even though we can't be our own friends. Antarkapat. Inside is all dirt and junk. And outside, we are all saint. We claim we have not hurt anybody. Knowingly we haven't done this. Can I make that claim that I am not hurting anybody? As a matter of fact, majority of the world is mad with me. Because they are hurt. They don't like what I say. And it hurts them. How can I claim? Well, I'm talking Gurbani. Am I? Can I claim that this is the ultimate truth? That I'm not wrong anywhere? Can I claim that I have now complete understanding of the Gurbani? I can't. It is just a type of self-deception, delusion. Inside what we are, we need to be ready to admit it to at least ourselves, openly, loudly, and clearly. I would suggest that if we can just practice this much, close the door, be alone by yourself, and loudly say what your thoughts are. Face your own thoughts, face your own fears, face your own expectations and disappointments. Just say it to yourself. Talk to the wall. And then see the type of cathartic effect it will have on your. That's what Gurbani is asking. Don't dress up. Don't hide behind the nice sounding words. अंतरकपट बघौती कहाए पाखंड पार ब्रह्म कदे न पाए. Pakhand. It has two annotations to it. Khandya hoya means divided. And Pakhand also means to think something different in the mind and do something different from outside. As Gurbani says, yes, I see you have come and you are bowing before the Gurbani, before the Guru. But are you bowing really? Yeah, I see your head going down. That act I saw. But seizne wa ye kya ye? Guru asks us the question directly. Just tell me, what Guru is this? Jahan hriday kasuday daye. When your heart is somewhere else, your head is somewhere else, how would that help? But we don't ask that question to ourselves. Oh, well, the whole world is that way. Don't worry about it. What's the idea? Who knows what is inside me? Very true. Nobody outside knows what is inside you. But remember, there is one who knows, and that is called Antarjami. That's the Antarjami. He knows. So, don't be in this illusion that he doesn't know. He knows. पाखंड पार ब्रह्म कदे न पाए, पर निंदा करे अंतर मलनाए. Ninda. What is the definition of Ninda? To tell the truth to somebody is not Ninda. But to fib about it, take a little thing and expand it into something bigger, or take something and change it into something lower, that one is Ninda. Pakhand par brahm ka dena paye. The divided mind or duplicate mind can never get there. And parninda kare, when we critique the other, find faults with the other. On the path of spirituality, this is the worst possible crime, to look bad in the other. If you are going to look for bad, look inside you, not in the other. If you are going to look good, look in the other, not in you. We do the reverse. We look bad in the others and good in ourselves, always. And then we call ourselves saints, Jini. And we are thinking that we are going to be achieving the highest stage of existence. Gurbani says it's not going to happen. Par ninda. Ninda bhali kise ki nahi. Man mugd karan. Muh kaale tin nindaka andar ke ghor pavan. They are guaranteeing the hell for themselves. The reality is that the life is a hell here also, because they are constantly connected with the negative. And negative can only create negative vibes inside your own soul, inside your body, inside your own mind. It will keep on expanding the negative. बाहर मन होवे मन की झूठ ना जाए. If you are focused on the cleanliness of just the body, by washing with the fancy soaps, man ki jhoot na jaye. Mind is not going to be helped with it. And what needs the change is the mind, not the body. Body is growing older by the day. Up to a certain time, the cells will recreate themselves. Every 7 years, every cell of the body dies and then recreates itself. Then a time comes, the process reverses. Cells die and they drop, but they don't recreate themselves, and that's when the aging process starts. So body cannot be helped. Only mind can be helped. And mind cannot be helped by the outer focus. बाहर मन होवे मन की झूठ न जाए, सत्संगत से बाध रचाए. And that is a very common occurrence, that if someone comes and gives you a proper positive feed, you start arguing. Satsangat se baad rachaye. A good company who is asking you to change the mind if instead of taking advantage of that, if you are baad rachaye, bahas karni, vaad vivad, to argue back, there is a guarantee to what? Andin dukhiya. That mind-body system will stay in pain. What pain? Not physical necessarily, but definitely emotional, definitely intellectual, guaranteed spiritual. Why? Because duje bhai rachaye. Now, you have guaranteed the attachment with the other. Har naam na cheta, bahukarm kamaye. He does everything else except his meditation, his naam, his job. He does everything. Bahukarm kamaye, everything else is going on. But har naam na cheta. That one action is completely out of the mind. Purv likhya so metna na jaye, nanak bin Satgur seve mokh na paaye. Understand something. Your actions are not going to be able to undo the seed that you have already sown. Purv likhya means what? Not kismat, as normally defined. Purv likhya means the choices that you made in the past, in this life or previous life. That once you have sown the seed, you will have to get the fruit someday. You cannot change it. Nanak bin Satgur seve mokh na paaye. Without his simarna, without his job, without his bhakti, mokh, mukti, the freedom from the life and death cycle is not going to happen. Pauli. Satgur Jini dhyaya se karna savahi. Satgur Jini dhyaya se tript agahi. Those who have gone to the stage of dhyana, dhyaya does not mean here to remember. Dhyana, it means dhyan is the third stage. Samadhi is the fourth stage. Jap is the first stage. Simarna is the second stage. Dhyan is the third stage. Those who achieved the third stage, they karna savahi. They are short of nothing. Satgur Jini dhyaya se tript agahi. Contentment, where inside they are completely contented. Santokh hai. Satgur Jini dhyaya te jam dar nahi. They are not bound by the time and space. Why? Because they are in touch with the fearless. Jinko hua kripal, har se Satgur pairi paaye. Jinko hua kripal har se Satgur pairi paaye. What does that mean? Pairi paaye doesn't mean just to bend your body in somebody's feet. Satguru pairi paaye, he literally means those who have given up their ego. The feet stay with the ground at the lowest possible level. That's why feet became the karmindri for respect. That's why we bow or touch the feet. Because we are not touching the feet to respect the other. We are touching the feet to announce that I am surrendering my ego in front of you. That's what the elders respect means. What? Elders order will be carried out, not the younger ones. That's what paripahi means. Tin athe othe mukujala. Isn't that amazing? People talk of Kabir 500 years later on, till today. And they'll continue to do so. That is athe. And othe, in the other dimension, he's a Bhagat. He's a Kamakhand Vasi. Jitte Bhakt Vasya ke loe. वो ही Kamakhand है. Tin athe othe mukh ujre. Har darge paide dahi. So they will be accepted there in the other dimension with proper honor and respect. So the central theme continues to be the same. We are being shown the conditions and the lives on both sides as to if we do, then this is where we will get. If we don't, then this is where we will get. Gurbani is not hiding anything from us. It's not camouflaging. It's not sugarcoating anything. It is giving straight as it is. It's not calling anybody names. It's not calling anybody bad or good. It's basically saying the purpose for which you have come, which is to get out of the cycle. You can and you should. So with that, we will close today's session. We are on page 89 and we'll pick up the Shlok Mahela Duja on page 89. I'll open the lines if somebody has any questions. Thank you very much. And as usual, if I have offended anybody, I sincerely apologize.